July 20th, 1944. The time is 12:42 p.m. The location, the Wolf's Lair, a heavily fortified military headquarters hidden deep in the forests of East Prussia. World War II is turning against Nazi Germany. The Allies are closing in from the west and the east. German cities are being reduced to rubble, and the once unthinkable prospect of total defeat now seems inevitable. Inside Germany, a secret group of high-ranking military officers, politicians, and intellectuals has reached a desperate conclusion. They believe there is only one way to save their country from complete annihilation, one way to end the war and restore honor to Germany. They must kill Adolf Hitler. This is the story of Operation Valkyrie, the most audacious and nearly successful attempt to assassinate the Führer and dismantle the Nazi regime from within. The plan itself was ingeniously simple. Operation Valkyrie was an official, government-approved emergency protocol, originally designed to mobilize the reserve army in case of a national crisis, like an internal uprising or Allied bombing raids, disrupting communications. The conspirators, led by figures like General Friedrich Obricht and Major General Henning von Treschow, saw an opportunity. They secretly rewrote key parts of the Valkyrie orders, transforming it from a tool to protect the regime into a blueprint for a military coup. Once Hitler was dead, they would use the Valkyrie plan to declare a state of emergency, seize control of Berlin, neutralize the SS, and arrest the Nazi leadership, all under the guise of restoring order. But a plan is just a plan without someone willing to execute its most dangerous part. The man chosen for this fateful task was Colonel Claus von Stauffenberg, a charismatic and aristocratic officer. Stauffenberg was a decorated war hero who had grown disillusioned with Hitler's brutal leadership. He had paid a heavy price in the war, losing his left eye, his right hand, and 2 fingers on his left hand during combat in North Africa. Despite his severe injuries, his resolve only hardened. He became the heart and soul of the resistance movement, the one man with the access, the courage, and the unwavering determination to place the bomb himself. On the morning of July 20th, 1944, the final, desperate gamble began. Stauffenberg boarded a plane bound for the Wolf's Lair, carrying a briefcase. Inside that briefcase, nestled among his papers, were 2 blocks of British-made plastic explosives, each fitted with a silent, acid-based chemical fuse. The plan was to set both, but time was running out. He arrived at the Wolf's Lair, where the daily military conference had been moved at the last minute from a secure underground bunker to a more fragile wooden barracks hut. This change seemed like a stroke of luck for the plotters, as the blast would be more contained and lethal in a less reinforced structure. At 12:30 p.m., Stauffenberg entered the crowded meeting room. The air was hot and oppressive. 24 of the Reich's most powerful military figures were gathered around a massive, heavy oak conference table. Hitler was at its center, hunched over maps, listening to reports from the Eastern Front. Stauffenberg needed a moment to arm the bomb. Faking an urgent need to change his shirt, he stepped into an adjoining room with his aide. But he was constantly interrupted. In the frantic rush, he was only able to prime one of the 2 explosive blocks. This decision would have catastrophic consequences. He returned to the conference room, his heart pounding. At 12:37 p.m., he quietly placed the briefcase under the heavy oak table, just a few feet from Hitler's right leg. A few minutes later, feigning a phone call, Stauffenberg excused himself, slipped out of the room, and walked calmly away from the building. At 12:42 p.m., the bomb detonated. A deafening explosion ripped through the barracks. The blast blew the roof off, shattered the windows, and sent a cloud of smoke, fire, and debris into the air. The room was chaos, filled with the screams of the wounded. 1 officer was killed instantly, and 3 others would later die from their injuries. From a safe distance, Stauffenberg saw the explosion and was convinced no one could have survived. Believing his mission was a success, he bluffed his way through the security checkpoints and boarded a plane back to Berlin to lead the coup. But Hitler was not dead. In a twist of fate that he would later call an act of divine providence, he had survived. Just moments before the explosion, another officer, wanting more room to lean over the map, had moved Stauffenberg's briefcase to the other side of the massive, solid oak table leg. That thick piece of wood acted as a shield, deflecting the main force of the blast away from Hitler. He was thrown across the room. His eardrums were shattered, and his trousers were shredded, but he was alive. Meanwhile, in Berlin, the coup began. Unaware of the failure, Stauffenberg and his co-conspirators launched Operation Valkyrie. For a few precious hours, it seemed to be working. They issued orders to the reserve army, began seizing control of government buildings, and started arresting key Nazi and SS officials. The fate of Germany hung in the balance, but the confusion wouldn't last. By early evening, the crucial message began to spread from the Wolf's Lair. The Fuhrer is alive. The coup's momentum, built on the assumption of Hitler's death, collapsed instantly. Officers who had hesitantly followed the Valkyrie orders now switched their allegiance back. The SS, initially caught off guard, regrouped and began to fight back. Later that evening, Hitler himself sealed the fate of the plotters. He spoke to the German nation over the radio, his voice raspy but unmistakable, proving his survival and vowing ruthless revenge against the small clique of criminal, ambitious, and stupid officers. The coup was over. That same night, Colonel Claus von Stauffenberg and 3 of his closest co-conspirators were captured at their headquarters in the Bend. They were taken to the courtyard and, without a formal trial, executed by a firing squad. Stauffenberg's last words were reportedly, "Long live our sacred Germany." In the weeks and months that followed, the Gestapo unleashed a wave of terror known as the Sippenhaft, or blood guilt. Over 7,000 people were arrested in connection with the plot. Around 200 were executed, many after show trials, their deaths filmed for Hitler's private viewing. Operation Valkyrie failed. It did not end the war, nor did it topple the Nazi regime, but it remains the most significant and celebrated act of German resistance against Hitler. It was a testament to the fact that even within the highest echelons of the Third Reich, there were men of conscience who were willing to risk everything, their careers, their families, and their very lives to stop a tyrant. Colonel Claus von Stauffenberg is remembered not for his failure, but for his courage. He stands as a powerful symbol of moral integrity in a time of darkness, the man who came within inches of changing the course of history. Thanks for watching. If you found this story compelling, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more deep dives into history's most pivotal moments.